Hello there. According to the French Foreign Minister, the UK and the EU will rip each other apart as the post-Brexit trade talks progress. Firstly, as ever, please kick that YouTube algorithm up the jacksie by giving this video a big fat like. And I'm always uploading new content, so please check my channel daily. The French Foreign Minister, Jean-Yves le Drian, reckons that the UK and the EU will end up ripping each other to shreds over the remaining 10 or so months of these Brexit trade negotiations. Speaking at a security meeting in Munich yesterday, Monsieur le Drian said, "I think that on trade issues and the mechanism for future relations, which we are going to start on, we are going to rip each other apart. But that is part of negotiations. Everyone will defend their own interests." And he also said that it would be very hard for the UK to get a free trade deal with the EU in the given time frame. On the UK side, a Downing Street spokesperson said, "Our approach is clear. We are not asking for anything special, bespoke or unique, but are looking for a deal like those the EU has struck previously with other friendly countries like Canada. We want a relationship based on friendly cooperation between sovereign equals, one centred on free trade and inspired by our shared history and values." But the real problem here is that the EU seems quite content to reach what I would call a normal trade deal with countries like Canada and Japan that are not geographically close to it. But they are, I think, petrified of having a huge, unconstrained global player like the UK on their doorstep. Hence moves by Brussels to try and tie us down onto their level playing field. Now, this level playing field is more about dynamic alignment than anything else. That's what Brussels wants. Because forcing us to follow EU rules as they change under pain of ECJ action makes it almost impossible for the UK to strike any meaningful deal with anyone else. So it's imperative we keep that at a very long barge pole's distance. But all this talk of the EU and UK tearing each other apart is just ridiculous. Either the two sides will come to a deal, or we will proceed past the 1st of January 2021 on WTO terms, and then continue negotiating into the future. Also, another point to note is that the EU did sign up to the withdrawal agreement treaty that said the UK and EU will do their level best to agree a trade deal by the end of 2020. Yes, there is an extension clause in that treaty, but the UK is making sure it does not get used, as extension clauses should be something used in extremis, not just part of the negotiating timeframe. And the next crunch date in the post-Brexit Day trade talks is not December the 31st, it is July the 1st. Because the EU will want the talks extended beyond the end of this year, and any decision to do that has to be jointly agreed by the EU and the UK before the end of June. Extending the talks will give the EU more breathing space to exert pressure via the Northern Ireland border and also give the Spanish more time to needle over Gibraltar. And the other issue at stake is that the EU wants to have agreed full, continuing and permanent access for its fishing vessels into UK waters before the end of June. And in fact, the EU Parliament has declared that if this is not forthcoming, then MEPs won't be signing off on any trade deal at all. So the next 4 or 5 months are the crucial phase, where we will see the EU stalling and obfuscating, trying to convince the world that the UK must agree to extend the talks. And you can bet your bottom dollar that the usual UK suspects will be wheeled out to argue the EU case this side of the channel. It won't be long before some joker starts talking about July the 1st being the real cliff edge and that the UK must agree to an implementation period extension because, and then Project Fear Phase 3 will be wheeled out. Or is it Phase 4 or even 5? I lose count. Whichever sad act ends up at the helm of the Labour Party will be calling for the government to cave into every EU demand, while what's left of the Lib Dems wrings their hands in support. And the pro-EU crypts will be reopened once more to let the cobweb-covered Blairs, Cleggs, Clarks, Camerons and Soubries out to sow their division. You never know, they might even give Burko some airtime over it. The trouble for them is that despite all the pushing by the likes of the BBC, no one will now be taking any heed. Well, except for those remaining few ardent rejoiners, of course. And if they do push this, as I suspect they will, then all it does is increases the risk of no deal. Anyway, if you want to hear more from me, please don't forget to subscribe and also press that little bell, or you won't get any notifications. And if you want to see more of me, buy a mug with my mug on it. So, what do you think the chances of an agreed Brexit deal are by the end of this year? Please share and comment, and thank you for watching. Please do like and share this video, and also subscribe to my channel. And when subscribing, please do remember to press on the little bell next to the subscribe button. That way you'll get an alert every single time I put up a new video. And thank you very much for watching.